So, as some of you may know, Atlus likes to color code their games, but did you guys know that those colors have meaning as well? Red being desire, anger, courage, just like Persona 5. Yellow being happiness, youthfulness, and egotism, kind of like Persona 4. Blue, on the other hand, is depression, trust, warning, just like Persona 3. And pink, which is the color of love, immaturity, and playfulness, just like, oh no.
No, 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 no.
Wait. First time since
Wait.
Listen to me.
Yeah, we're talking about Catherine today. Catherine is a game that I actually really like. It was created by Katsura Hashino and written by Yuichiro Tanaka. If you don't know who these people are, that's okay. They're only responsible for Persona 3 and 4, as well as the SMT series. Nothing that big. This originally started development back in 2008, just as Persona 4 was just being finished, and planned to be the company's first game in HD, and well, not this. Seems easy, right? No. In a 2012 interview, Atlus said the game ran into many issues to the point the game's release had to be pushed back, and the game just started being referred to as a test for Persona 5. And well, they weren't lying, but for some reason, I actually prefer Catherine's character models and animations. Atlus said that they wanted to focus on realistic facial expressions and actions, and well, it works for most of the time, and sometimes it just looks really funny. But hey, I'm not complaining.
Listen to me.
Something about it just makes it more entertaining to watch. One other thing to mention you probably could have figured out if you clicked on this video is that this game is meant to be catered towards adults and had more adult themes as opposed to their two previous games. It also included a full cast of adults. Yeah, when was the last time Atlus did something like that? And not only that, the game was also set in America. The gameplay of this was also something very new for Atlus. Instead of taking turns slapping the shit out of enemies, we now climb. Now usually, this isn't my cup of tea, but in a way, it satisfies my monkey brain. Now, this is also an Atlus game, so you definitely know that they made a remake of this game. Catherine Full Body, a game we're not talking about today, but I will say it's at least a decent update to the game's original story, but we'll talk about that when we cross that bridge. For now, let's just focus on the original Catherine game, starting with the characters. Vincent Brooks. Just like you, this guy is a loser. Unlike you, he has a girlfriend. However, he's not the best with her. Vincent's whole character is that he's allergic to maturing and wants to be a free man, but at the same time, he really likes Catherine and wants to be with her, but isn't willing to take the next step with her. So Vincent's whole arc is either embracing adulthood or completely rejecting it. He also appears in Persona 3 Portable, so in a way, this game can technically be considered a Shin Megami Tensei game. I don't know, best not to think too deep into it. Catherine, with a K, McBride, is a hot lady who is in a relationship with Vincent.
It should have been me, not him!
She's ambitious and hardworking and wants to marry Vincent because, well, it's stated she wants to do it because she loves Vincent, but the way she phrases it makes it sound like she does it for status purposes. She is caring about Vincent and does worry about him a lot, kind of like a parent of sort. Speaking of parents, she fakes a pregnancy to see how Vincent will react to it. Catherine, with a C, is a woman who appears in Vincent's life suddenly and flirts her way straight into Vincent's bed.
It should have been me, not him!
She's basically the opposite of Catherine, being a free-spirited person and very playful, especially in bed. There really isn't much to go on for her since she shows up and disappears more times than your partners in a university group project. It does leave a sense of mystery to her, but like even after you find out the truth about her, I still know nothing about her. My feelings on her didn't even change that much after finding out. Like, finding out about it had me feeling like this.
Okay.
There are also the side characters, Johnny, Toby, Orlando, Erica, and Thomas, aka Boss. Most of them don't have a major purpose in the story besides just existing for the main character to talk to. However, it's actually these parts of the games I like the most because nothing crazy is happening. It's just people chilling at a bar talking about life, and it's also backed by the fact that they talk like real people. And I'm not talking like people with emotions, no, I'm talking about conversations you and your friends would have in real life. Like, just listen to this conversation.
Well, speaking of crazy stuff this morning, I pissed the bed for the first time since grade school.
What? Oh, that's messed up, man.
I had a really scary dream. I don't remember what it was about.
Oh, man. How old are you?
32.
I know that.
You know, I don't think I need to hear this.
Shut up. I was really fucking scared, all right?
Beautiful. There's also a few extra people you can talk to at the bar that somewhat serve a purpose to the story that we're gonna get to soon, but I will say they're portrayed pretty fucking well. They're all unique and have their own story that doesn't overlap with each other and are interesting to listen to. Like, you could just make a game with just us talking to people in a bar and I wouldn't be complaining. So, if you think I'm going to go into great detail of how this game is,
you are dead drunk.
I basically just have the cliff notes of the game written down for what happens. This game is also not that long, coming in at about 13 hours if you played casually, that is. So if it seems like the segment is quick, not my problem. The story starts off with Vincent having a dream of being in a world where he's surrounded by sheep and hears a voice telling him to climb or he'll die. And so Vincent did nothing and died. Just kidding. Obviously, he climbs and survives. He wakes up to find out he pissed the bed in his sleep. Why is this relevant, you ask? I don't know. It's just in the story for some reason. Later, he meets with his girlfriend, Catherine. And here, we learn that they have been together for some time and that Catherine wants to get married. Vincent, on the other hand, is against this because he just likes the way life is right now. I'm sure you're living the dream, man. We then cut to later that day where Vincent's now at the bar with his friends. This is where we learn that Paul died mysteriously that morning. Who's Paul? I don't know. We basically just know he's dead. Not much significance happens in this scene besides just to introduce the characters, so let's just move on to the next scene. Vincent does have a nightmare again, but I'm going to be honest, the first few times he has these, they don't serve much importance in the plot since he never remembers them anyway, so I'll just skip these parts for now and talk about them later. Vincent wakes up that morning finding a naked girl next to him in bed. I'm sure you can do the math here. If you can't though, don't worry. They give us a flashback of it anyway. You think Vincent would say something along the lines of, I don't know, that he's in a relationship, but no. Will he ever say it?
No.
Anyway, Vincent meets up with the gang at the bar, where Vincent learns about a curse put onto people who cheat. Great, enough of that because later it happens again.
You can't keep getting away with it!
But wait, it gets even better.
I think I'm pregnant.
So yeah, we learn Catherine is pregnant and he's already proving to be a good dad by getting the milk for her. How thoughtful. Anyway, nothing really significant happens the next 2 days, so let's just jump forward to the good stuff.
Is this Vincent?
Yeah? Who is...
I
I'm Steve.
Catherine's boyfriend?
Vincent confronts Catherine about this information and denies the whole thing. Still waiting for Vincent to say he has a girlfriend, by the way. So, since Catherine denies it, Vincent goes to Catherine about it and also denies it. Out of options, Vincent confronts Steve about it, and when asked about what she looks like, turns out she wasn't even the one we know. So as a celebration, Vincent decides to get a good night's rest and oh, so yeah, we're finally talking about this now. Anyway, during Vincent's climb, he meets a sheep who he recognizes as Steve. Steve tells him that they've been cursed by Catherine, but before he can explain further, he gets killed. Anyway, we cut to the next day where Vincent's hanging out with Orlando and hears from the news channel that Steve has died. This finally allows Vincent to remember the dreams he'd been having. Oh, and on top of that, he finally leaves Catherine. So this next part is kind of important, but also not important. But essentially, Vincent has a dream sequence where Catherine finds out that Vincent has been cheating on her with another girl named Catherine. And so Catherine decides to do the sanest thing a woman can do once they've found out they've been cheated on. She tries to kill a bitch, but that backfires and she gets killed instead. Vincent tries to calm down Catherine with some comforting actions.
calm down.
Anyway, it ends with Vincent saying stuff like, I'll protect you and stuff, blah blah blah, whatever, it's a dream anyway. He wakes up to find Catherine in his room and she confronts him about cheating. Vincent's like, yeah, but I want to be with you. And she's like, nah. Oh, and by the way, I'm not pregnant, and calls the relationship off. After that, he becomes really sad and lets it all up by deciding to take a shit. But it's here that we learn that all of Catherine's contact information and photos are gone. And on top of that, no one remembers seeing her at the bar or when Vincent broke up with her. Confused, Vincent tries to remember back to that night and remembers that someone did see her, and it is none other than Thomas the boss.
It's you. It's you.
He confronts him and Thomas proceeds to do the biggest self-report ever. The scene is a bit too long, so I'll just use this clip from iCarly to show you what I mean.
Are you sure they're not here?
Yes, there's no one in my basement.
I didn't say anything about your basement.
Yeah, so it turns out Thomas is just a god who has been giving unfaithful men nightmares that they can die in. Vincent just casually accepts this for some reason and decides to then challenge Thomas in a duel that if Vincent wins, the nightmares are no more for everyone and he gets back with Catherine. Obviously, we beat Thomas and get back with Catherine, marry her, and live happily ever after, but that's actually just one ending. See, throughout the game, you get choices that determine what ending you get, one with Catherine and one with Catherine, or you could just end up alone. Personally, I like Catherine's ending more because she's hot. Catherine, on the other hand, was just, for the most part, pretending to be someone, and in the end was just like, oh, I fell in love with you during my time with you or some shit, and we end up following through on cheating Catherine. Catherine Full Body actually remedies this, but we'll get to that in another video. For now, let's just talk about the other things in this game. The gameplay side of this is split up into two parts: dialogue choices you make throughout the game and climbing. Take a wild guess which one we're talking about right now. Now, this is going to be very complicated, so pay attention. You climb blocks upwards, and at the end, you pull a hook and complete that puzzle segment. That's it. Well, that's just the formula for it. There are special type of blocks that will be present to either make this easier or harder, most of the time harder. These nightmares occur every night, and each night unlocks a new area to climb in. Each area also comes with its own boss to survive each night. I'd also like to add that these areas are tied to whatever happens to Vincent that day. Like, for example, the day Catherine told Vincent she was pregnant, the boss of that night was a baby. The nightmares also serve as the biggest opportunity to score brownie points with whoever you want to be with. Each puzzle you complete, you get a rest area where you meet your fellow sheep, who just happen to also be people. Most of them are people trying to stay alive, obviously, while some of them are just in it to kill people. Why? I don't know. The people who do want to stay alive are people with very distinct personalities. There's a group of sheeps that strategize ways of climbing. There's a cop, rich guy 1 and 2, and an emo guy. There's also a bunch of scared sheep you can talk to, in which you can either cheer them up or tell them that they're being a bitch. There really isn't much to say here. It's a small area with either the sanest or most insane people you'll meet. Yeah, this place is getting its own segment. I don't care. The bar is honestly my favorite place out of the entire game. I like the vibe, I like the interactions, I like Erica. The bar basically serves as a base of sort for Vincent. Here, you get to talk to your friends who I've already explained what they do. There's also other people around the bar you can talk to, such as a cop, rich guy 1 and 2, an emo guy, a businessman, and a journalist. Where have I seen these people before? I certainly have no idea. Anyway, this place serves as a way to score brownie points with whichever baddie you want. You'll receive text from them from time to time, and you can either reply to them or ignore them, but I recommend replying to them as it will help you get the ending you want. You'll also sometimes get pictures sent from them. Some of these I can't show you, but just know it's best to be playing this game alone. Back to the other people in the bar. As I said before, you can talk to these guys and learn about them and who they are, kind of like something you would do at a regular bar. Now, I'm not going to dive into all their stories, but just know you may or may not want to be talking to them whenever you get the chance to. Time does pass by in this bar, so be sure to use it wisely when interacting with people. You could also just let time pass long enough to the point Catherine shows up, and you could talk with her, but I never really tried too much. If everything I said hasn't piqued your interest, then you could always just resort to shutting the fuck up and drinking your beer, and you get to learn cool alcohol facts about your drinks.
I know this is sudden, but here's some trivia for you, as you seem to have finished your glass. The name Rum and Cola is actually a nickname. Do you know the real name of this drink? It's called the Cuba Libre. The rum called for in this drink represents Cuba. This is a cocktail which mixed the national specialties of Cuba and the United States, as a Cuba Libre means free Cuba. It tastes differently when you know the history. And that was the cocktail trivia for tonight.
Honestly, this game is not that bad, but I would say it's not that good. The characters aren't really the best, as they're not really the most fleshed out people. Hell, even Vincent isn't the most likable character. I get the game is meant to make us sympathize with Vincent, but it just makes me think this guy is a dumbass. Both Catherines aren't the most likable either, as they both come off as controlling and just magically like this guy. There are times where we do see moments to actually like these people, but not enough to think of these characters more positively. The puzzles can sometimes feel challenging and repetitive. I get I said earlier that it was not that hard, but I can't deny sometimes it felt more like a chore to do to progress through the story rather than something to look forward to. The story was pretty solid though, as it was very grounded and had a realistic themes and issues brought up, which is something Atlus isn't really known for. So I think plugging this into the tier list, it's definitely a good game, but not enough to be pretty good. But who knows, maybe Full Body will change that. So that's my thoughts on Catherine, a game that's honestly a good simple game. I wouldn't really say it's meant for everyone, but I would recommend it to the right people. Anyway, if you like this video, why not like, comment, and subscribe to catch more slop like this. I do plan on releasing another video on another controversial Atlus game, see that, be sure to subscribe. That's all for me today, and I'll see you next time. Peace.